Hello, fellow goths out there. I didn't really know how to start this. Honestly, I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. Um, I've been inspired by a number of people, mostly in the goth amino. So, I've been goth since like 2001, roughly. Um, you know, for me, that was basically the tail end of middle school, going right into high school, and it's kind of funny because I kind of wanted to talk about a couple things today. I don't have any fancy recording equipment. I got a low quality webcam I'm using, but just there's a lot of whether it's fashion or music or whatever. A lot of people in the goth community on YouTube that they produce really good content. I enjoy watching their videos, kind of sporadically since I only follow a couple. Like actually, I use YouTube just kind of for things in passing a lot of the time. But something I did want to talk about, which I don't see very often, at least from what I've seen, things that pop up in my recommended, even on the Goth Amino, which I'm a lot more active on, is men's fashion and that kind of thing. I know it's out there. Please don't get down on me in this because I know it's out there, and it's just harder for people to spot in a lot of cases. So there's a couple things, like I said, I wanted to talk about. The first one is what inspired me to really do the video is sort of to kind of, not get my name out there in the sense of I want to be like a big YouTuber or something. I kind of just want to share some thoughts and that sort of thing. But I'm working on some Gothic literature. Namely, I have a more existential, broader, not cosmic horror like Lovecraftian or anything, but along a similar scope of having like a more ethereal, intangible kind of darkness. And like Lovecraft, like I said, it wasn't meant to be compared to him, but in his works, the whole point was that this is something that you cannot take down. So I have one, which actually brings me to my next point, is I've been working on art. So this one is a personal favorite of mine. I just painted this, the last one I painted. That was last month, I believe, and it's called Without. That actually is a sort of companion painting to go with that novel that I just mentioned. This other one that I have available, I called Nameless because it doesn't have a name. I couldn't really think of anything for it. It's a little lame, but I just kind of wanted to give it something that I could put out there with it. I actually want to sell that. I like it. I enjoyed it. It came from shower condensation art that I did, and I tried to recreate it as best I could. But yeah, so Without is going to be a personal piece for myself. I'm really proud of it. I used acrylics and then I actually used a sculpting tool to get all the tendrils because the paintbrushes weren't cooperating the way I wanted them to, and the sculpting tool, like the little scooper, like you would use for epoxy or clay or something like that, actually allowed the paint to apply the way I wanted it to. I digress. So yeah, I guess that is technically one of two. I kind of keep saying the other thing and blah blah blah. I don't have a script. I'm just trying to be candid and kind of honest with my approach. But the thing I did want to talk about, and I'd mentioned this, is men's fashion, that kind of thing, and in particular in Southern California. I'm in Southern California, and so for me, a lot of my time as a goth, ever since I was a kid all the way through till now, I'm 31 years old. God help me. But my style's kind of evolved. It was obviously in middle school, high school, that kind of thing. It was a lot more the stuff that I was actually able to get, when you're limited with what your parents will allow and that kind of thing. I always had a good relationship with my parents, so they were always very understanding and, let me get away with a lot of different things that, some parents might not be okay with. Which includes one time the school got mad at me for having a Diablo pendant. There's this pendant that I think was a Hot Topic. You remember those days when Hot Topic actually had stuff that replicated the image of the icon of Diablo from the Diablo video game series. And I remember as a kid, I just thought that was the coolest thing, and just having that kind of cool little gargoyle look. It was really fun. Anyway, I wore it to school one time. The school got upset, and then my dad's a teacher, and he ended up talking to them, and they were like, "Okay, it's fine if you wear it underneath." And it was funny, but I always tried not to be argumentative or contrary to other people because I wanted to represent it well too. So a lot of my high school and middle school fashion was very limited, very restricted, very conservative in terms of standing out a lot. So obviously I had a lot of black, like most of us do tend to wear. But, you know, it was like Dickies, kind of basic boots, like black work boots or something like that. That was my dog barking with his mouth full. And, you know, like maybe some eyeliner, some basic eyeliner. I had a, you know, just very, very limited basic stuff that wouldn't draw too much attention, but would also kind of be easy to identify, as you could say, oh, yeah, that's, you know, if you say the goth kid, then they'll know who you're talking about. But obviously, as I grew up and graduated and, you know, continued through life, I was able to access more stuff. And so one fashion I always really, really loved the look of, especially when the goth culture kind of ended up putting their own, you know, their own tweaks on it and that kind of thing. And of course, do-it-yourself is always ideal, because then you can really customize it yourself. And if you can't, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the whole point in a lot of instances is just kind of be yourself, really, and emulate these kinds of themes and looks that we all share an interest in. So for me, obviously, you can see I'm kind of formal right now. But going back to the topic of Southern California specifically, ever since middle school, the hair, I was just boiling hot. I'm actually sweating now. You see me like rubbing my head time to time because I'm sweating. A, I just got out of the shower, and B, it's really hot here in Southern California in the summer. So anyway, I would, you know, have my hair tied back a lot of the time. Have it down now just because I prefer to wear it down. But anyway, so I kind of wanted to move on to a couple things that you can do if you're if I don't want to say male, because, you know, gender nonsense is like, you don't want to step on the wrong foots or anything. So I'll say if you're interested in what would be traditionally male attire, you have things like this. This is a you know, just standard plain shiny silk shirt. I actually got this for when my dad had won a Teacher of the Year award. So it's just, you know, a nice formal shirt, but because it's silk, it's very lightweight. That's an ideal thing if you're interested in a more formal look of goth, a formal type of goth, and you're in somewhere hot like Southern California, the Southwest, you know, even places like Florida, even though Florida, obviously, when you're in the South, and in particular Florida, anywhere that goes, you know, closer to the equator, you're dealing with a lot more humidity, so you need to take that into account. So right now I'm just going to go from the perspective of a Southern California boy here. This is a dark chic, I believe, vest that I got on Amazon. It's very cool. I really like it. I don't know if it'll show up with my cruddy webcam, but it's got a kind of gentle sheen on it, gentle shine. It's got just, you know, a very traditional sort of Victorian flowery floral pattern on it, and the buttons are nice. It's very sturdy. It's very solid, and it complements it well. And so that's the other thing I wanted to mention, is that an ideal look, if you want to emulate that sort of dressier style without going into the coats, is to have something like a waistcoat, a vest, that sort of thing. Because with this, you know, my arms can breathe. With the silk especially, it's a lot airier. There's, you know, more airflow. The air reaches even through the fabric a lot more easily. And so because of that, it's, you know, you're not boiling to wear it. Even with this up right now, you know, I'm collecting heat, and that's mostly, again, because it's Southern California, so it's just hot right now. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of look at that. A lot of the goth fashion blogs that I follow on Tumblr in particular, I always see, you know, it's like 98% female, you know, dresses, skirts, that kind of thing. And not as many male or more masculine themes and styles and fashions are shown. That was actually one reason I loved the Gothic Beauty magazine, because even though you did also tend to have a lot more focus on females, they always did have a pretty decent number of male features as well. Something else is actually, when I got the vest at the same time, I got these pants, which you can't really see probably, but here's a spare pair. They have like a really baggy drop crotch kind of waist area. It goes to about just above the knees. And that's handy because, again, you have a lot of airflow. You're a lot more comfortable. It's tight on the legs, so you have airflow around your waist and thighs, but the tightness of the thin material on your calves also gives you a lot of breathability. So it's nice because you can feel, you can feel the airflow pretty much where, no matter the circumstance. Again, humidity does play a factor, but I digress. Another thing is I've had this for a number of years now, probably since about 2008, 2009. It's a trip vest. Yeah, that'd be an amazing vest. It's a trip kilt. I've put a number of pins on it right now, just to kind of like add a little bit extra. It looks awesome plain, but I just want to kind of add my own touch to it as well, without actually doing heavy modification or anything, because it doesn't really need it. I found that in my time with that kilt, it served me very well. It looks great, and in hot weather, it's a godsend. You don't have to worry really about the breathability of pants, or is this pant, is this going to be too much? Is that going to be too little? Whatever. If you also like boots, I can wear my tall boots. I have 2 pairs of Demonia boots, which over here actually I can get those as well. So I got these ones. I forget the names. I don't really care, to be honest. I'll tell you if I can find them. I'll put it in the description later. I got these ones back in 2007. If you're wearing something like your Dickies, a lot of my pants are basically Dickies. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to do my best. I have Dickies, black Dickies work pants. They're kind of, because they're plain but heavier material, I'm comfortable wearing them places without worrying about damaging them or something like I would with slacks or something like that for the more formal look. But yeah, you wear the boots with those, and sometimes it'll be uncomfortable. Generally not. I tend to be good with it. It doesn't really bother me. But sometimes it'll affect you have to bend them, and then you have bend them around your leg, and then you have to make sure they fit. Sometimes they don't fit. You have to adjust the boots. I also have these ones, which, fun fact, I got at the local Goodwill. And I was looking it up online. Apparently they're out of production. They're no longer available, unless you find them used. Anyway, so when you have something like the kilt, or those leggings I just showed you, the ones I'm currently wearing that I held up, the other pair of, those are good because those tight calves allow the boots to slide on. You don't have to worry about your pants pulling up or down with the boots and adjusting your pants and that kind of thing. So something like these pants or that kilt work really well for hot weather because it's breathable. You can move easily in it, and then you don't have to worry about having to, adjust the pant legs or anything like that as you're moving around with them and, getting through the day. I just kind of want to talk about a few things that I have just because I wanted to get some content out there. I guess I've always been proud to be Goth, but I don't really, I'm not that social. I've been to Chamber here, well, not here, but just, up the road 10 minutes or so in Anaheim once, honestly, just once. And besides having a few friends, I honestly don't really get out and socialize with people that much, and I'm trying to change that. So one thing I wanted to do with this video in particular is possibly start posting more, essentially, goth vlogs, I guess, from my perspective. And I know it's going to be different for a lot of people. You might disagree with me on certain things, you might agree with me, but I want to do my best to be agreeable because one of the big things is community, and obviously you want to promote a community that is very respectful and holds each other up, because we're just all in it to enjoy who we are and the themes and fashions and literature and everything like that we like. Obviously the music is the origin of it all for Goth. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to introduce myself to the YouTube Goth community, since I've never kind of made it clear at all. If you look through my videos, I have scuba diving videos, which a lot of people are like, oh wait, you're Goth? You scuba dive? But, it's unexpected, but it goes to show you that all walks of life, it doesn't matter who you, what you do, or for a living, or what your hobbies are, or what your background is, or where you live. You can be Goth if you enjoy these things, if this is a part of who you feel you are, if it's a part of your interests and your passions and that kind of thing, then, just do it, basically. So I always suggest doing do-it-yourself stuff, because it's kind of been a staple for Goths for years and years and years, since the beginning. But there's also nothing wrong with buying stuff and assembling outfits and that sort of thing, because it's fun. I like fashion. I don't claim to be an expert with fashion. I just like the way that clothing looks on, different people, and the way that different people can assemble outfits to make different looks and that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess that's it. Definitely keep an eye out because I will be using YouTube to promote my Gothic literature once it's done. I have one self-published book out there already. It's self-published, highly unsuccessful. Sold like 40 copies total, published about 10 years ago. But yeah, I'm moving on because I feel a lot more passionate about this, about pursuing a horror Gothic kind of specialization for my novels and my literature and my writing and my poetry. So I will be using this at some point whenever I've accomplished enough to warrant putting it out there. And definitely will be updating my art. If you guys are interested in the art, please let me know because I've been having a lot of fun doing this. These are the only two I've got done right now. I just finished doing the background, the base background for a third. Like I said, this one without I will be keeping just because I really am in love with how it looks. I really love the feel. I'm happy with the colors. I'm happy with everything. This one was my very first one. I like it. I'm proud of it, but I don't need it. To be honest, I don't particularly want it. Just because it kind of takes up space. So I'm proud of it. But if anybody is interested in it, go ahead and leave a comment or message me, whatever, get into contact with me, and we can talk because I'd be happy to get rid of it to someone who could appreciate it, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just kind of that's kind of cool. We can negotiate price. So not a big deal. Just kind of want to throw it out there just in case anyone's interested. Otherwise, yeah, just hopefully you guys will have appreciated and enjoyed some of my thoughts and ideas and suggestions and stuff. And if you guys are cool with that, then definitely let me know. Give me either a like or a comment to let me know it's okay. You guys like that kind of thing. And the only shout out I really have by name is the Goblin Queen. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing she goes with. She uses that on Instagram. She's the singer for Esoteric with a K. And a good while ago, I had watched one of her videos here when it was still, I think it was her personal channel, and it's transformed and she transitioned it into the band channel. But back then, she had done a lot of vlogs and that kind of thing. And I don't honestly know because she hasn't shown up in my suggested videos recently. But she had done a video about goths being confident, wearing things, and that sort of thing. And I remember I posted it on Tumblr a long time ago. Basically, I linked to the video and I was like, this woman is amazing because, I've always been, it's not that I'm antisocial. It's just that I'm not really a social butterfly. I'm a very reserved kind of person. I like to kind of sit back quietly and respectfully, even if I have my own opinions and thoughts and that kind of thing. I often don't want to bug people, blah, blah, blah. And so a lot of that also comes in the way I dress. So I'd always kind of have my good goth stuff for certain occasions and that kind of thing. But then after watching that video, she just really inspired me to, basically don't give a damn. Just, be who you are, be happy with who you are. If you're not hurting anyone, don't worry about it because there's no sense in stressing over something if you're doing your best to, basically keep everything calm and tranquil and happy and pleasant for everyone, especially yourself because you do have to look after yourself, but keep others in mind too. So her in particular, I really appreciate her content, her video, and her attitude towards life in general. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you again soon then. Bye.